Hello and welcome to Penguin Palava. This is my game for this particular module. You play as a penguin called Pingy, which has a model and skeleton rig which was taken from the Unreal Asset Store. The penguin has walking and running animations, although it's hard to see with the binary keyboard controls. But if a controller were to be hooked up, he would transition from the idle animation to walking with a slight press of the stick and then to running when it is fully pressed down. When the player starts, there is music playing, which is sourced from Game Assets, sort of Creative Commons Assets music. The penguin can jump as well, and it plays a little audio clip when he does that. From the spawn point there are two NPCs which are basically there to inform the player that they cannot swim, and this is just so that the player doesn't try to circumnavigate the platforming challenges by just jumping straight into the ocean. Now another blueprint we have here is the ice. So you can see that the momentum of Pingy continues after the input has stopped being pressed. So this just makes the ice a sort of slippery surface and makes the platforming elements a little more difficult. Now also, if the player were to start this platforming here and then fall within the water, they would actually be respawned. So there's sort of a kill box there, and it respawns the player just in front of the platforming challenge to ensure that they don't just get stuck in the water or fall through the world. Now if the player heads up here, this is one of the first optional activities. There's a lady here who is missing her hat. Now the next blueprint here is these sort of rotating platforms, and they can rotate clockwise or anti-clockwise, and they've sort of been placed to create a platforming challenge for the player, as opposed to the more static ice platforms over there. And once the player makes it across these platforms, they will be able to grab the item that has been placed up here as sort of not one of the Easter eggs, but a means of getting to one of the Easter eggs. And you see there's a little gold hat down here, and you can press E to pick this up, so there's a text mesh just telling the player what to do, and once they press E, the hat is added to the skeleton mesh of the player character. So we can now then jump this way, which gets us back into the core path of the level, going across the slippery slopes platforms. And there we go, we can get up there. And of course these meshes here are sort of to prevent the player from just going straight across without going across these platforms. So it's sort of a narrative reason why they can't just go straight across, and that's because a storm occurred which blocked this path that the penguins would normally take. And then coming across here, you see that there is another NPC, and they're unable to get to their research base because this particular ladder was damaged during the storm. So the ladder is broken, the only way up is those slippery slopes. And so here we have these platforms here. There's a invisible spawn box that triggers the new music that's just started for this particular part to add to the atmosphere of the level. And if we just take Pingy around here, again this is quite slippery, so it makes it a little bit more challenging for the player. And then when you come to these two particular elements here, it's the sign of our next Easter egg. So instead of going up and continuing to the research base, if you drop down here, you'll find the first actual Easter egg of the level, so CI541 Game Development Frameworks. So it's just a little side area that perhaps a player wouldn't always notice straight away, but it's sort of signified by these two monoliths. Right, so then going back up here, you can get to the actual main goal of the level. Brilliant. And you made it to the top, so the man congratulates us. Wow, Pingy, you crossed the river on those slippery slopes. Well done. And we've also got a dog woofing. So another blueprint here, we got this golden door, and since we have this golden hat, it's possible to press E to open this door, and you'll see that it actually animates for opening, and animates for closing. And inside there is some lighting to ensure that this room isn't just pitch black as it was originally. And then the man comments, "Pingy, what are you doing here?" "Ah, I see, looking very dapper," alluding to the fact that the golden hat enabled the penguin to access this environment. And if we stand here, we can look up, and there is the second Easter egg of the level. Since we were able to get in here, it's my name. And then that is the main bulk of the Penguin Palava level. With continued development, it would then be possible to enter this cave environment. I think it's possible that a flashlight would be able to be attached to the penguin, similar to the golden hat, and that would enable entering the cave over there. But due to time constraints, I thought it was best just to focus on this initial area and then sort of getting down the core gameplay here and these elements. So that is where it stops for now, but that is how it would continue had time and resources allowed for it. Thank you.